So setup for Snakes of Wrath is very easy. You take this tile, which is the starter snake, place it in between the two players, and then each of the two players will draw 7 tiles randomly from the snake sack. You can flip one of the double-sided body tiles to decide who goes first, and then play will begin. So let's go over some of the different types of tiles that are in Snakes of Wrath. You have sort of traditional body tiles that you'll use to build your snakes, and they come in all different shapes and are double-sided. You have injury tiles. Those can be played on your opponent's snake to injure them. And then there's also armored tiles, which if your opponent has played these, you will not be able to place injury tiles on top of because they're armored. You also have head tiles, which you can use to close off all your snakes or start new ones from. And then you have these little mixed bag ones that have some heads and some body tiles on. And these can be really flexible. There's also the starter snake, which starts every single game, and Todd, who is worth exactly 1 point, and becomes a much bigger part of the game than you think he is going to when you first start playing. And those are all the different types of tiles. So gameplay is very simple. The goal of Snakes of Wrath is to win, and the way you win is by getting 13 points, by building multiple snakes in your color and preventing your opponent from being able to do the same. But on your turn, you will pick one of your tiles, play it anywhere legally on the build, and then replace that tile from the snake sack. Your opponent on their turn will do the same, and the two of you will go back and forth playing tiles until one of you reaches that goal. There's a bunch of other little rules and techniques for getting there, and I'll go over some of them now. So as you can see, the game has progressed a bit, and there's a couple of tension points that are about to happen right now, and we'll go through them. The first thing is stealing. Stealing is very simple. To steal an opponent's snake and flip it to your color, all you have to do is, on your turn, attach, let's say I'm red now, I have to attach my snake to the opponent's snake with a tile, like this. If you can do that, that becomes your snake. There's another way to steal as well. So let's say it's Blue's turn now. Blue can play their turn. And another thing you can do is attach an open head on your turn with your color to an opponent's snake, like this. So I'm essentially starting a new snake and stealing at the same time, which would flip this whole thing over. So those are the two ways that you can steal, either attaching your snake to your opponent's snake, or from an unclaimed head starting a new snake that attaches to your opponent's snake. Now, often what will happen in this game when it gets strategic is that people will have backup plans in order. So we can assume that red kind of knew that blue might steal that snake there and had this waiting. So now it's red's turn, and it's just as easy for red to take the whole thing back. So what starts out as a really simple mechanism can actually become a fairly involved sort of set of strategic decisions. So stealing is simple, but to do it is not so easy because it often involves, or only involves, putting yourself in a sort of compromised position to steal. So if I'm red and I want to steal this beautiful blue snake over here, I'll play my guy right here, right? And so then on my next turn, I can play another tile that will get that. But that puts me in a position where on blue's turn, they can play and steal my whole guy here. So I don't want to do that. And that's what injury tiles are for. Injury tiles will incapacitate the opponent so they can't build on their snake, allowing you to get into the position so you can steal. So let's say it's my turn and I have this tile, it's red's turn, they have this tile. They can play this on their snake, slice and dice them up a little bit, and now this entire snake is incapacitated and cannot be built upon. So the opponent now has to do something else on their turn. If they have the same exact tile, same exact shape, then they can play that on top of it and heal it, and we're back to square one, and I can't do anything else to steal that. But if they don't have that, then they would have to do something else on their turn. They would, maybe they injure my snake to get me back. Maybe they set up a situation over here where they can potentially block me or try to steal that. But they'll have to do something else while that snake is incapacitated and they can't build on it. Maybe they start a new snake. Now it's my turn again as red. I start sneaking up here. They still can't do anything. They just keep building over here. And then it's my turn again, and I can steal this entire snake. Like so. I attach my snake to theirs, and then this all becomes red. Now, even though this snake has no open ends, which is to say it has heads on all open ends, it doesn't have any open ends like this, it's still injured, which means that I can't score it for the win unless I heal it. So at some point, I still need to heal this snake. If I do that, then I score all, whatever it is, 17 points here for this snake for the win. But if I can't do that, this is worth 0 points. So going rogue, there may come a time when you're playing where you can't or don't want to add to any of your existing snakes and you don't want to start a new snake. It comes up. At that point, you can always go rogue, which means playing a tile somewhere on the build. Still has to make sense on the edges, but it can just sort of be floating like this. You can do it with a body tile too. So let's say it's blue's turn. They can play this. The thing that you need to know about going rogue is if this snake does not have a head on it, it is a loner. It is up for grabs. You cannot continue to build on it on your next turn. It is not yours. It is just a piece of meat that's out there until someone plays a head on it. So if on blue's turn, they attach a head to this little loner over here, then it's theirs. But on red's turn, say red's going and they attach a head to this loner, now it is officially, legally a snake. And there's lots of different reasons why you would want to go rogue. Maybe you want to go rogue to make it more difficult for your opponent to achieve something that they're trying to achieve. Like let's say it's your turn, you're red, you think on blue's turn they're going to try to play this piece, steal your snake. And you don't have that piece. So you're kind of in trouble. You can't injure them. There's nothing you can do. So what you might do is play a rogue head tile right here. And now this puts them in a position where they can no longer play this because it wouldn't make sense on this edge. And you're putting them in the position where they would need to have a much less common tile, which would still work. But if they don't have that, then you've successfully blocked them. And then you can try something else. You can maybe sneak around on your next turn and steal it. So there's a lot of tactical reasons for going rogue. So things you can't do. You cannot add healthy snake to an opponent's snake. So if I am red on my turn, I don't know why you would do this, but on my turn, I cannot build on an opponent's snake. That's a no-no. That includes heads. You can't put heads on opponent's snake. You can't put heads on an opponent's snake, even if it's also putting heads on your snake. So let's say I'm red and I want to close these guys off and block this guy from grabbing my stuff. You can't do it because it's putting a head in an opponent's snake. So that's not allowed. You can't play floating tiles over here everything needs to attach to the build. You cannot close a snake if it is only one length. They need to be minimum 2 lengths long to close. No little baby snakes. So scoring is easy in Snakes of Wrath. You score for every single colored body tile that you have in one of your closed snakes. So this red snake here is closed. It has a head on the all end, and snakes will have multiple heads in them. It's not biologically accurate, but don't think about it too much. This is worth 0 points, but if it's all closed up, 1, 2, 3, 4 points for this snake. So let's score all of red. Red has 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a little baby Todd all by himself, worth 1 point. 5, 6, 7. This is a closed snake. This one's open, so that one doesn't score. This one's open, so that one doesn't score. Now we'll score blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, that's a win for blue. And that is how you play and score Snakes of Wrath.